Today we have a fun webmaster question from Barry Schwartz in New York. Barry asks, was there a key moment in your spam fighting career where you made a mistake that you regret related to spam? So he's not just talking about choice of wardrobe or anything like that. I can think of at least two mistakes that I've made related to spam. So I'll tell you about both. I remember talking to a very well-known SEO at a search conference in San Jose, probably 7 years ago, give or take, and that SEO said, you know what, paid links are just too prevalent, they're too common, there's no way that you guys would be able to crack down on them and enforce that and come up with good algorithms or take manual action to sort of put the genie back in the bottle, as he put it. And that was when I realized I'd made a mistake and that we had allowed paid links that pass PageRank to go a little bit too far and become a little bit too common on the web. And so in the early days of 2005, 2006, you'd see Google cracking down a lot more aggressively and taking a pretty hard line on our rhetoric about paid links that pass PageRank. At this point, most people know that Google disapproves of it. It probably violates like the Federal Trade Commission's guidelines, all those sorts of things. We have algorithms to target it. We take spam reports about it. And so for the most part, people realize it's not a good idea. And if they do that, they might face the consequences. And so for the most part, people try to stay clear of paid links that pass PageRank at this point. But we probably waited too long before we started to take a strong stand on that particular issue. Another mistake that I remember is there was a group of content farms, and we were getting some internal complaints where people said, look, this website or that website is really bad. It's just poor quality stuff. I don't know whether you'd call it spam or low quality, but it's a really horrible user experience. And I had been to one particular page on one of these sites because at one point my toilet was running, and I was like, okay, how do you diagnose a toilet that was running? And I had gotten a good answer from that particular page. And I think I might have overgeneralized a little bit and been like, no, there's lots of great quality content on some of these sites, because look, here was this one page that helped solve the diagnostic of why does your toilet run and how do you fix it and all that sort of stuff. And the mistake that I made was judging from that one anecdote and not doing larger scale samples or listening to the feedback or looking at more pages on the site. And so I think it took us a little bit longer to realize that some of these lower quality sites or content farms or whatever you want to call them were sort of mass creating pages rather than really solving users' needs with fantastic content. And so I think as a result, we did wake up to that and we started working on it months before it really became wide scale in terms of complaints, but we probably could have been working on it even earlier. Regardless, we're always looking for good feedback. We're always looking for what are we missing, what do we need to do to make our web results better quality, and so anytime we roll something out, there's always the question of, could you have thought of some way to stop that or to take better action or a more clever algorithm, and could you have done it sooner? And so I feel like Google does a lot of great work, and that's very rewarding, and we feel like, okay, we have fulfilled our working hours with meaningful work, and yet at the same time you always wonder, could you be doing something better? Could you find a cleaner way to do it, a more elegant way to do it, something with higher precision, higher recall? And that's okay. It's healthy for us to be asking ourselves that. So great question. Those are a couple key moments I can remember where it felt like we made a mistake by not paying attention to a particular topic soon enough. Hope that helps.